Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect Knitters. I'm Deplorable Knitter, and I am joined, as always, by the wonderful and fantastic Ann Pinkava. Hi, Ann.
Hello.
Thanks for being wonderful and fantastic over there. Um,
I tried my hardest.
so this week, Ann has our yarn giveaway.
It is the Politically Incorrect Knitters colorway, which is beautiful. And hey, like some of my favorite knitted things are like vintage athletics. This screams to me vintage athletics. It's so pretty. Or maybe it doesn't scream that to you. Maybe it does something else to you. That's fine. That's cool. That's
I
happening.
don't know. I kind of dig the fact that we somehow ended up with like a Gryffindor vintage kind
Yeah.
of colorway myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
deep in the Harry Potter right now.
oh, definitely. That's some, ooh, let me get that hair. That's some good Quidditch stuff there. But yeah, the
Hmm.
maroon and the gold, and there's a bit of navy in there to tie the two together, kind of, ground it. Beautiful. Anyways, but this is our giveaway. You can get it on chickenladyfiberarts.com and use our code Turkey20PIK for 20% off your order. And this is her Surima sock base. So it's 80 superwash merino 20 nylon. 435 yards, and it's beautiful. But you can check out
It
other
is
things
beautiful.
on her site. Yeah. Her Patriot collection
Yeah.
colorway is in pre-order. That she also has her advent calendar, the No Place Like Home, which is going to be Wizard of Oz themed. Super cool. And lots of fun stuff going on.
I'm gonna just right now to show stuff off. This is actually not my project, but it is in Chicken Lady yarn. This was her raspberry puree surpresent ball. It's on a DK Sparkle. I don't know if you can see that it's got a sparkle, but it's
Oh,
really
that's
pretty.
fabulous.
I gave this to my mom for Mother's Day, and she has already made it into this lovely shawl. It's just a little scarflet thing. I'm gonna block it for her, so it'll be longer. And it didn't even take a whole skein for this. We've still got this much left over, which will be perfect for a block of your um, puzzle box quilt.
Uh,
But yeah, so I just wanted to show this off because um, my mom said she went home and immediately cast on, and she was talking about how fun it was to get the prizes out of the surpresent ball as she was knitting. She said she would be knitting and kind of not paying attention, and then like she would feel her yarn like not flowing as freely, and she'd look down and there would be a new prize, and it was kind of fun and exciting. So
nice.
anyway, that's that. Um, I think this is called the Workday shawl. I'm not certain. I can ask her for sure, but yeah. I mean, look at how much stretch it's got. It's going to be a really nice like scarflet thing when it's done. When it's blocked, it is done. But yeah,
Right. No,
so that's fun.
I do like the thin shawls that can kind of double as a scarf.
Hmm.
Like you can drape it more or wear it different ways. It's a good set.
Well, as a woman who is in menopause, I need something that is going to be just a little bit. I don't need those shawls that you make that are as big as a blanket because I'm too hot. I don't even want to look at them. I don't want to knit them. I
I
don't want
know.
them to touch me. So
I know. I'm gonna show off the Isom shawl again, but the Isom shawl is a big chonker. That's a big old shawl.
that's cool. I'll just show the other thing I have real quick because
Oh,
it's
go
not
ahead. Yeah.
much. Um, if you're in our Telegram group, you've seen this because I was asking questions about how to do it. Because I am the person who somebody says, "Can you make this?" And I always say yes. Whether or not I've ever done it, I still will say yes. So this is my first corner to corner blanket. It's a cow pattern. I think it goes like this so far. As you can see, there's a cow spot and some white. I stopped right here because I have to start another black spot. I don't really know how to carry colors in C2C. I don't really know what I'm doing. But hey, look at it, it's this big already. So that's fun. I'm one of those people that like everybody was making the corner to corner blankets, and I went, I'm not going to make that because everybody else is doing it. But then when I was looking for the cow pattern, it seemed like the easiest way to make it because I don't want to do that thing where you have to carry your yarn behind your others. Too much. Don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So
Stay in the butt.
that's my story about that. And I've got a cross stitch in the other room. I'll show it to you guys next week. So
Nice.
for a wedding. So it'll be done next week because it's going to be done next week
Right.
and
Because
hopefully
it's
framed.
for a
We'll
wedding.
see. Yeah. Got to alter a dress too for that wedding. I did not plan ahead well. But that's okay. That's fine. My mother will help me. She's good at
Mm.
it. So
Yeah.
that's what's happening here. What about you?
Well, I am working on a couple of different things. I actually crocheting too. Crazy, unbelievable. I am working on the squared up jacket. And here, let me readjust this because my hook is over there. But squared up jacket is, I think I showed it off last time. It's constructed from the corner and it's like a granny square, except it's into 6 instead of 4. And then you seam 2 of them together and add sleeves and a bottom on it and stuff. Anyways, so gotten this far so far. I'm very excited about it. Um,
I'm
and yeah,
impressed.
it
For the
will.
girl who didn't know how to do the magic circle and
Uh-huh.
was having trouble reading the directions, you've gotten really far. I'm proud.
Oh, thanks. I so far I've only found 2 mistakes. One of them is that I like double did one of these stitches and yeah, I like have more of these that I'm supposed to have one more one round. I'm like, whatever. No one's gonna notice that. No one's gonna pay attention. And also like at the end of your round, you're supposed to attach in to the other square, and somewhere along the line I biffed that. So that's gonna be fine. Um, see, that's my level of crochet confidence that at least I can fake it that way. But yeah, it's gonna be very nice. It's gonna be very, dramatic. And I live in a lighthouse by the sea, and I wear my gray crocheted sweater as I look longingly out into the distance. I'm excited for that. Be good.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So I have
I got a
that.
hole in
I
my
have
straw.
tragedy.
Okay,
Woe,
the kids are getting ready for
despair.
it. Okay. It's awful. Okay, keep going.
Okay. And then thing 2, so the ISOM shawl that I've been working on forever. So just a little recap here. I started this in at least the fall, maybe the summer of last year. I forget. So I have these like little arm section thingies here. I will show you a picture. Yeah. The shawl will look like this in the end, right? So you have the body and you have the arms where the arms are, and then you have the belt, and then you have the little cross thing right there, right? So I had here,
I
where do
like
I
the
have the rest of these?
picture. I mean, that's pretty fancy. I
Oh,
never start
thanks.
with a diagram like that.
Well, I had to start with a diagram because that's our guy right here. So as you can see, if you just like draw in a line, that's going to
Yeah,
be the shawl lines with the costume.
cool.
So,
I see
anyways,
it. I see your vision.
yeah, yeah. So now you see how it's connected to the shawl. And so originally I had paused this because okay, this section was 20 stitches, this section was 11, and then I was going to do another 20 stitches. And I'm like, no, 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 those are not the amounts I want. I should pull it out. And I said, no, I'm going to just keep on keeping on. And then I got to the final orange section, and I like actually, because this is a pattern that I'm going to put out for other people who knit, I have to have exact counts, and it has to be actually the way I want it because I had run out of the black yarn too. So it was like, it's going to be 20 rows. I'm like, it's going to be 18 rows because so yeah, I'm like, no, 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 do what you wanted to do to begin with. And each of these sections will be 15 rows. That will work out fine. That's what you want. That will be visually balanced, much nicer. Just do it the correct way. And now because of that, I'm not like half puttering around like, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I? And the only other thing is that, okay, so these pictures are done by different artists, right? Of the costume. Um, almost okay, in the little here, and then we have the interior one. Yeah. That the Here, there should be one at the end here. Okay. So the things on the belt, right, that are in gold. On the front cover, the main cross is in black. The crosses sometimes are more square, sometimes are longer, again, depending on the artist. That you have these things on one promotional photo. There are more lines around the belt, but they're just in orange. So I have to decide if I'm just going to keep with the cross and the two lines on the main part of the shawl. But if I do more, because I'm going to do it, it's going to be like a different color, basically an I-cord on top of garter. If I do more of them, it's more visually interesting for a shawl. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with that. But
Interesting.
anyway, so yeah, that's my whole debate. I know I've said a lot of that before, but that's my thing. And also in reverse knitting, I have some Yaira.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's here. The bottom one is basically, I should like iron these things before I show them off. The bottom one is basically 1-for-1. Like it looks very identical to the gal's logo. But then it's that thing where you try to miniaturize it. I'm like, okay, I think this is a workable. Definitely if you saw the logo for her book, you'd be like, yeah, that's Yaira. But the way that some of the points are coming out was so distinct. So that I'm not sure about the spacing with the top one. So it's one of those things where it's like, I want it to look good, but these are details that probably only I am into. Everyone else is like, yeah, whatever. And I don't know. Like it's recognizable,
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't know. I've never seen her logo either, so it's yeah.
Here, let me pull another one. So, anyways, the long points and the points to the side.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and the campaign is on its last couple of weeks too. I thought that would be neato. But anyways, in comparison with just a stack of comic books over here, let me shove that back. Anyways, so that's what I've been playing with. The upcoming issues of Blocked magazine is the Heroes issue. That doesn't necessarily have to be superheroes, but I like me some superhero
Anne's gonna
knitting.
take advantage of it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going
it's her
hog
thing.
wild. It's kind of my deal. So I'm gonna do that. So yeah, I'm again hope to make something with it. Not sure with any of these things, with any sort of pixelation, making something as effective as it can be and as accurate as it can be with the smallest amount of pixels is the goal. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyways,
Cool.
yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Cool, cool. Cool. So we have a lot of stuff to cover today. We're gonna rapid
We
fire
do.
at you guys because it's that kind of day. So that's what you got for yarny knitting stuff.
Yeah, that's what I got, man. Oh, also,
Mhm.
okay, so the Iris stuff reminded me because I may or may not have something that I'm planning with the meh colorway. But back to Chicken Lady, the meh colorway is now on sale. So
Ooh,
like get that.
yeah, that's your
Cheers.
thing. If yellow doesn't make you say meh like it does me.
I know yellow isn't your thing, but it was so funny when I got that both Neil and I were like, ooh, superhero knitting. Like both of us let bright yellow. We're like, yeah, we dig it. And you're like, okay, whatever.
Not my thing. And
You're
it's
like,
funny
not
because
into the yellow.
my husband and I built our house, right? And our house that we tore down where our old house was, and the old house was yellow. And so he's going, well, we're just going to have a yellow house like we did the first time. And I'm like, I hate yellow. Like the yellow house was fine because it was there. I'm not going to build a yellow house. It's just not my thing.
Like, we're not going to do this
Anyway, that's my story
intentionally.
about that. Yeah,
I know.
it's fine. It's just not me. It's not what I would pick.
I know. And I am, and I'm sitting there like specifically digging and trying to find the right yellows for like, the Ripaverse stuff and the Nerdrotic beanie that I did and all of this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, I really like a bright yellow. And you're like, nice. That's
I mean, I do like mustard now. Like I've at least gone that route. Like I used to hate all yellows, so we're coming around. It's just taken me 40 some years to get there.
Hey,
I like
slowly
a
but
yellow
surely.
and a rainbow, just on its own. Eh, eh. So anyway,
Anyway,
there's nonsense going on in the knitting, like of a splash, but I figured we should talk about it real quick. There's this company called Yarn Love Yarn, and I actually just ordered some yarn from them because if you're a new subscriber, they have a buy one get one free deal. So I got two skeins for the price of one. And I had looked at their yarn prior to this, and then when I saw the nonsense, I was like, I will go buy it now, like, and see how it is. But she used a photo of a guy who goes by All About Caleb on Instagram. And she apparently, when people send her photos of their product, of their items that they've knit, she asks them, can I use this for marketing? And she has a folder on her computer that she puts the stuff into if they say yes. So that when she's like, oh, I need a picture for this colorway, she can pull it out and put it up, and it's, she doesn't have to knit it herself or whatever. It's handy.
definitely.
And somehow from Caleb this folder, even though he had not given her permission to use it. And so internet fashion, instead of it just being a conversation like, hey, you're using my photo, why are you using my photo, it turned into a thing. Right. I found out about it because I'm on her mailing list, because like I said, I had looked at her stuff before, and I'm like, it said something about an apology, and I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Of course it's an apology. Oh shoot, I dropped all my stuff. Hold on. Okay, so it was an apology letter. So I went to read it, and it's like not just like oh, I used this thing in error. It's like a big long apology letter. So it was a long thing, and oh, now my thing is frozen. Okay. I apologize for my mistake and the harm it caused you personally and the crafting community. And the thing about Caleb is that he also appears to be, I don't know, Hispanic. And so that, of course, the thing is that she's making money off of the back of a POC. I welcome honest discussion, and I want to consider viewpoints and, be respectful if you disagree. Just the whole playbook of nonsense. And, people are like, oh, she did this on purpose. She knew that these weren't some of the pictures,
Oh
because
gosh.
there's a hat and a shawl in it, and not all of the yarns are her yarns, and how can she use it? And it was just a whole thing. And then this Caleb dude had to post about it, and
It should be
he's
mentioned with
complaining
this.
that she sent him the wrong yarn and that he wasn't able to make the project he wanted, and this and that. It was just
And okay, so I don't know. This Caleb guy is pretty suspect. I mean, not just the all about Caleb, but the majority of his photos is one simpering pose with his arm up showing off his armpit. I don't trust anyone who has perfectly like manicured armpit hair for photos. Okay, I'm just gonna say right there, red flag, even among men. Let's just no, but it's almost as if he's looking for an excuse. It's like, okay, use my photo. She's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. There's a lot of photos, a lot of photos coming in, a lot of photos coming out. I'm sorry, I didn't do permission. No, no, no. It has to be a big to do.
right. It's funny though, because I don't think that Caleb got the response to his rant that he expected, because he did take down his post about the whole thing. It's gone. So I think people, I mean, obviously in the mob, there's always people that agree with you, but I think enough people were like, dude, she apologized, she took it down, she made a public apology to you. What else can she do? I mean, you can go around assuming she did it on purpose to hurt you, but what's the point? And then this is the part, it's why I mentioned that he was a POC, because people were like, oh, well, every sale of that kind of yarn that she made while your photo was up, you should get a percentage of, since she used your photo without permission. It's freaking nonsense. I mean, technically, if you post a photo online, I think that people can use it, can't they? Like, people have taken our videos and cut pieces out of them and put them in their own videos without permission. So I think once it's out in the public, it's out in the public, isn't it?
I think it's fine. I mean, there's a certain amount of fair
I wouldn't
use.
use somebody's photo without. Yeah, but to an extent, I think that, like, once it's out in the public domain, you don't really have a say over it. But I could be wrong. You guys may correct me. I mean,
it's
just saying that it's happened to us. My photo's been everywhere. I mean, the TV stations use photos of my products without asking me, without contacting me. So I assume, because it's out in public, that they can.
Right.
Otherwise, I guess I better be calling Fox News and Newsmax to get my share of my money that they got off of my segments with my hats in them. No, but it's just so nonsense, and everybody's always so butthurt about everything. Like, get over it. Somebody made a mistake. Move on.
I know. Like, I just signed up for a Testnet, which I have no right to sign up for a Testnet, but also is really pretty. So I signed up for a Testnet. And one of the questions down the line was, it's like, okay, so, you know, can we tag you publicly? Can we use, you know, will you, like, basically, is it our, you know, will you take pictures of your project? And is it okay if we use those pictures, you know, after we say, hey, the test knit is done, look at what our test knitters made? I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, totally.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
you know, along with
I learned to do that.
Right. And also along with other things like, hey, you're signing up for a test knit. Do you agree not to share this pattern with other people? I'm like, yeah, that is, again, you know, proper procedural, proper, you know, intellectual property, other things that, I don't know.
How these things go.
Right. There's a lot of, you know, basic etiquette in the yarn world, or if you want to say creative world, or however you want to do. There's internet etiquette that gets lost. And again, there's also a proportionality to internet etiquette. It's like, use my photo without permission. Don't do that. She said sorry. It's It's the smallest of deals.
Like, if this is a thing, though, I want to get some of that sweet, sweet YouTube money that Emma made off of our video. I'm just saying.
That's true. And she didn't even credit our song, guys. She used our soundtrack. Didn't credit Joel.
I don't credit our song guy either, so maybe I should put a little tag up for him on there.
Oh.
Just saying.
Maybe. I mean,
because he's very good.
He is very good. Also, for a little bit.
That was the yarn love yarn.
Right. The guy who does our theme song, Joel Montgomery. Hi, Joel. He did our theme song for a knit hat. Like, that is how that transaction went down. So he's worth more than that. We love you, Joel. But yeah.
Oh, man. Our fourth anniversary is coming up next month. We should probably talk about that. Just saying. I don't have a pen to write it down right now.
I don't know. We should throw a party. I don't know what the party is, but yeah. Extravaganza.
I think we at least need to do a giveaway every week. A new giveaway every week. We'll talk about it.
We can do that.
Yeah. That was that. I'm going to keep going with my news because I think that mine is less real, less hard-hitting than Anne's is. And so I'm going to go through my nonsense so that Anne can tell us the real stories. So the next thing,
Oh, I just have depression. You want some good news,
that
or
I
not
wanted
good
to
news, but
mention, right, right. Well, okay, so I'm going to say this too. First, we're going to talk about Drew Barrymore. This happened 2 weeks ago. I missed it. I was busy, like, I don't know, having a life or something. I don't know, but my mom and I were talking about it. When I was growing up, Drew Barrymore was popular. I really liked her as an actress, so I have on purpose not ever watched her show because I'm sure that I'll despise her if I do, and I don't want to. I want to be able to watch Never Been Kissed and just enjoy the show for what it is. You know what I mean? So I on purpose stay away from her. That's just personal choice because I know she sucks. So I missed this whole thing, but Kamala was talking about how when she got married to her husband, she's the evil stepmother, but because Disney has made stepmothers so evil that she doesn't go by step, right? They call Kamala, which is fine. I kind of think it's funny. I have a stepdad and I don't call him dad and I don't call him by his first name. I call him Papo. It's just a familiar name that's special, that's whatever.
uh-huh.
But I get where they're coming from with it because I got a weird Papo myself. So Anne's face. What's up with your face, Anne?
Mama. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, no, it's kind of sucky. But so I watched the clip for y'all, and I will never watch her show again because it was so cringe. And they were making such a big deal about like, oh, this is the first time we've ever had an all-female audience. And okay, so you guys don't know what chicks are, but when it comes to this, you know that all your people in your audience are
Well,
female. Please explain how that works.
I'm losing the name of the guy, but the quote 100 days of girlhood guy, you know, the gay actor who boops around and stuff.
Are you talking about Mulvaney?
Yes. Dylan Mulvaney was on her show previously.
Okay, Dylan. Yeah,
Dylan, sorry. No, but
on the same day.
not on the same day, like months
Oh,
before this show. But okay, the entire Drew Barrymore show is like soft lighting and emotions. And she kneeled on the carpet right next to Dylan to hold hands and talk about being a
I
girl is
saw that clip.
hard
I don't want to.
sometime. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you don't
Like I said, I don't watch this on purpose.
my controversial opinion on top of the rest of this is that Ever After wasn't even all that good. Um, but that's just a
I
me thing.
liked it.
Anyways, Drew Barrymore, abused by everybody, is now trotted out to do the round face, soft focus, emotional daytime television thing. So you can feel like you have a connection with god awful people like Kamala Harris. And it's like, oh, isn't it great that she gets called Mamala? They're holding hands in orange light. Like, who
Yeah.
watches
Well,
this?
so
I mean, probably also people who watch The View, but this is bad.
but
We
it
need to
is bad.
retake
Like
women's television. Watch some good stuff.
they don't want to watch us. They don't want to watch people we want to watch, unfortunately. Um, so anyway, big deal.
We're gonna do it.
All female audience.
Yeah, how
She's
many men are
talking
lining up to
so
watch
earnestly
Drew
to
Barrymore?
Kamala.
Really? That's like to get a full female
Well,
audience, what do you gotta do? Kick out the two guys whose girlfriends drug them along? Like, that's not difficult, I would think.
yeah. I my
Was it
guess is
even
that it
intentional?
generally leans pretty female anyway. But I believe it was the way they kept talking about it. Or it was a fluke, and so because it happened, they wanted to make it like it was a thing.
Yeah.
Either way, interesting. Okay, so all female audience,
There's
and
probably a couple of gay men who are into that.
Drew is just at Kamala. So she started talking to her about how hard it is to be in a mixed family and all of these things, and mixed not as in racially, just as in with step parents and things. And, she's like, I just feel like the country needs a mom hug right now. Maybe you're the person to do it. And the whole thing was just cringe. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. Like, so uncomfortable. And then afterwards, Drew got shredded for her comments about her being mamala to the country. And people are
Yeah.
like, oh, this is just like every white person ever who's tried to parentify a black woman and make her into a mammy to take care of us. And
Oh,
a lot of the stuff
especially
was
since
like,
Kamala
oh,
Harris
yeah,
is
the
the
first
most
female
yeah, she is the
vice
most
president isn't there to be the
unpersonable
mother to the
woman.
country.
Yeah, she is the most unpersonable, like,
Mhm.
public
No,
figure. Like,
out of anybody, I wouldn't pick her to
I
mother.
mean,
No.
Nancy Pelosi's,
I think
like,
Kristen, her
knobbly
gun
knees
shooting
are
self
more.
would be better than that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like if you had to sit across at dinner from Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren, another terrible answer. Who do you think would be more friendly and remember to pass the salt? At least I could get a coherent answer out of Elizabeth, even though it would also be crazy. I'd be like, Elizabeth, none of those things make any sense. That's all right, though. Those are all real words in a sentence. That doesn't sound like you're talking to a kindergartner. So I'd take her as the dinner partner over Kamala. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, she's not the person you would pick, but the uproar about the fact that you're trying to parentify this black woman and don't we need to respect her. She's a black woman in office and she is more powerful than you and that kind of shit. I missed that. And in case you did, now you know about it.
There you go.
Um you the viewers, Anne had already known.
Yeah, it's like she's, what is Kamala? Have we
So
decided yet? It's like sometimes they're like she's the first black vice president, or sometimes she's, more Asian because of her Indian heritage. Um, you know, also ignored her actual slave owning heritage and from Jamaica. We got a lot of stuff with her. We're just, I don't know. She was tokenized by Biden himself, and she doesn't need to be doing much beyond that.
yeah. So that happened. And now for my most disturbing piece of news, and then I'm gonna let Anne depress you. So we're gonna go from disgust to depression. Ready? There's this
Great.
dude named Martin Neumeier, I believe. Let me just check. Neumeier, yeah. So he is a candidate. Oh my good gracious! I didn't see. I was just looking at something. I hadn't seen this one. So the thing I saw is of him extremely seductively licking toilets in a public restroom, like disgusting. Like not just like licking, but like making out with the toilets. Like I couldn't watch it, but I was trying to read the comments and I kept seeing pieces of it. And so he is. If this wasn't 2024 and this was 1924, he would be in a mental institution because he is obviously unstable. Like,
Mhm.
number one, that's not something people do. And number two, why are you posting videos of it? He apparently had a video of him performing sexual acts on himself while singing the Nazi era German national anthem. He had a picture of himself to be Hitler with a shit mustache on. He uh, uh, he's just really he was kissing a toilet brush.
Mm.
So just yeah. So this is what's running for public office in Germany. Apparently there are no standards there, and I guess it's something we have to look forward to in the coming years as we continue to follow these crazy people. who does that? And then who posts them? Like, I know people do weird things. If you want to do a weird thing yourself with your private, I guess go ahead. But like, why are there videos?
Get off on it, I
That's the part
suppose.
I'm confused about. It's disgusting. I've never seen anything like it. It made my stomach actually hurt because it was so gross. Um,
Awesome.
so yeah.
Yeah, we as Americans, I'm not saying we don't have our own crap, which we most certainly do. But there's a lot of like, oh, Americans, you just spread your degeneracy and wokeness to Europe. And I'm like, there's certain untoward jokes about prostitution in Amsterdam for a reason. I mean, prostitution generally is something you can joke about, but it's like they do they do weird stuff there. Like that's the by reputation and it goes up to higher office. Okay, so one of the stories that I have today, which is speaking of sex stuff in Europe, always a great subject for a knitting podcast. Sorry if you have kids around, guys. Like I apologize. Um,
Yeah, guys, I think but this is generally not kid friendly. Like, I don't let my own kids watch it because unfortunately politics gets weird. And, just saying.
all right. But okay,
Sorry.
yeah, definitely. In the news of this is what happens when the state comes in and legalizes things. And you're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if, you know, we legalize drugs and we legalize prostitution? Because after all, it's what you do with your own body and it'll all be brilliant. And then the government comes in and regulates it all. Okay, here is a headline from the Publica. All right, gonna read it out. Belgium passes a law stating government can intervene in cases where prostitutes refuse sex acts too frequently. Okay, second line. Pimps may file an official government complaint against their quote workers if they refuse sex more than 10 times in 6 months. Okay,
That's
so
not very much.
yeah. Oh, isn't this fantastic? Not only are it's like the government comes in, the government slaps you around, why do you need a pimp even? They take, all your money. The government slaps you around and tells you to get back out there. And in Belgium, assisted suicide is a-okay. So even the government will hand you the pills when it gets to be all too much. Is it what how free are we as women? We're just doing fantastic. The sex work is real work crowd is just, it's a big old win, don't you think? You can't even be trafficked, by some random dude on a street corner anymore. It's your government itself. It's so loving. It's always there for you. And you can't root it out of any portion of your life.
Yeah, no, that's freaking messed up, dude.
Oh yeah. I mean, and if it wasn't obvious
I
from that statement, not a fan of prostitution. Not a
right.
fan of, yeah, it just
But like anytime the government gets involved, it's like the baker having to make the cake.
Mhm.
Like, I want sex with somebody, I should be able to say no thanks, I'm good. And it should be respected, but because it's like the job,
Yeah.
it should
And
be like the cake. I don't want to make that cake.
especially
Sorry.
since so much of prostitution, sex trafficking, it's really, like it's a lot of very feminist types painted as like, oh yeah, you're empowered, slay girl. And it's like, yeah, being paid to perform sexual acts on people is no, it's not empowering, it's degrading. And not only that, most
No.
women in prostitution and girls in prostitution, because that's a massive issue. That's a trafficking thing. That's not a, hey kiddo, what do you want to be when you grow up sort of thing. It is traditionally
Right.
when you're at your lowest, this happens.
Yeah, no, but the whole prostitution, I don't know. The whole thing is messed up. So
Anyways, yeah.
what else?
That's
What other depressing
theory.
news do you have?
Well, let's go to less creepy news in general. There's a couple of legal cases going on right now. Rumble is suing Google because Google claims to have a free and fair search engine. They're hiding Rumble. I should also say we're on Rumble, even though YouTube doesn't like you saying the word. So that will probably get, you know, downvoted in the algorithm or however that works out for saying it. But yeah, because Rumble is suing YouTube, suing Google, Google owns YouTube. YouTube will therefore downvote your stuff if you say Rumble. So fun stuff. People are wanting to search for Rumble. Rumble is being hidden in the Google search algorithm. And because of that, Rumble can't get the advertising dollars it would otherwise get from just being a regular site.
Fantastic.
So there's
That's really
that.
lovely. I love these tech monopolies and stuff. It's really wonderful.
Oh yeah. But anyways,
Okay.
Rumble's breaking them up. That's fantastic. Speaking of tech monopolies, TikTok. It has been judged that TikTok, because it's owned by the CCP, that's not cool. So it'll be banned in the US within 6 months unless it can be sold to another company. But here's the argument, all right? And a lot of people say, oh, it's a Chinese company. It's not necessarily owned by the CCP. Yeah, all companies in China are owned by the CCP, including the little slave shops that make your
Right.
shoes. So kind of not cool.
Mhm.
And your phone and everything else. But so the argument that TikTok has, I'm like, I'm sorry, we cannot possibly be sold to another entity. The CCP won't let us.
Mhm.
And that is their legal defense to the Biden administration. And also, it's interesting to say that they would rather like totally cut out the American audience, which is a massive audience for TikTok. It's huge. They would rather cut that all out than let another company see the algorithm. And also, okay, with um America by banning TikTok. It's like, yeah, banning a company that is against the interests of America. CCP is not our friends, people. I don't know, like a little crash course in that. It's not. Chinese Communist Party, yeah, not the good guys. But also it's the
Yeah.
this is being used by the okay, like for example, like are we doing any actions against Facebook for both the ads and the censorship and then the legal defense that they had for different election issues before the 2020 election? Like, are we going to have any sort of legal case against Facebook? No, it's like this entire thing is a censorship and an information push. So it's like two things can be true at once. CCP, pile of crap, and they own TikTok, and that's terrible. And also, any legislation against the CCP is going to be used for other intents. Last point is, so in connection with governments taking control and government-owned entities and censorship push and all of that fun stuff, government censorship and, hand in glove with internet corporations and, all that fun stuff. Love it, really into it, dig all of it. So IRS, you may remember the IRS targeting certain conservative groups under Obama and Janet Yellen. That, good times had by all. They also, when the IRS does this, they also target certain far left groups as well. So there's this sort of like fallacy where you're like, oh, because something is targeted, by censorship apparatuses or by the government, it must be because they're telling the truth. This is not always the case. This is the anything that makes life difficult, and it's also it's good to hit at both sides, keep things in line. Um, but the IRS is directly targeting, quote, anyone who makes it difficult to govern will be looked into by the IRS. Not the, hey, we looked at your political action committee and we think that your taxes are whack, so we're looking into it. It's like, no, 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 you're making it a hard time. So we are using all these extra IRS agents we hired to make a hard time for you with your taxes.
Okay, so who is surprised that all the extra IRS agents are coming after people they don't like? Show of hands? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But still, it it's worth mentioning,
Yeah.
remember that
No, it
crap
is, but
still happening.
great. Um, that's fantastic. So I remembered two more things I wanted to talk about real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one is the presidential debates are going to happen. There's going to be one in June, and there's going to be one later, I think maybe September, they said. And in the video where Joe asks Trump to debate him, there are 5 cutscenes in a 13-second video, and I want to know how they think he's going to debate. Like, for real, how is this going to happen? And I was listening to something yesterday that said that they think that Trump agreed to such an early debate because if he loses his trial, generally he would be remanded directly until he's sentenced. But because he is a presidential candidate and he has the debate scheduled, they thought that it might be a strategy thing to keep him out of jail. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I thought it was interesting.
Mhm.
I mean, the person I was listening to lawyers talk about it, so it's not like I came up with this or somebody came up with some crackpot scheme, but that's what I
Right.
heard. I wouldn't have thought of it, like I said, but I don't know. I don't know if that's part of it because generally they don't debate until like October or something. So
Yeah. Yeah, and from what I hear, and again, don't know exactly how accurate it is yet, but it's they want pre-recording and they don't want a live audience.
yeah, no
And
live audience. It has to be somebody who hosted a 2016 one and 2021, which limits it to like all lefty stations, CNN, ABC, MSNBC.
of
So the
course.
first one's going to be scheduled with CNN. So that's all going on. I was just like, so it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, and also it's like why do you not
But
have a live audience? It's like, well, it's much easier to spin that Biden is brilliant. If like okay, nobody look at the campaign rallies. Nobody shows up for Biden. Nobody at all. So who's going to show up to this? Trump people who will show up for absolutely everything. So it's like
mhm,
it's much harder to, make Biden look like he's really got Trump. He's really got it. Come on, man, and his serious face on.
yeah,
And it's just more drugs than blood in his veins. But that's, you can see
for
you
real.
can see
So
the facelift going. Um, all of that going on, it's much easier to twist it and soundbite it if we're not booing Biden and if we're not cheering Trump.
right, there's that. There's also the mics are going to be muted, which might not work out well for Biden. Like if it's Biden's turn to speak, Trump's mic will be muted so he can't interrupt him. But Joe tends to be the interrupter and he tends to lose his train of thought. So it might actually backfire on him because if Trump is interrupting him, it makes him look less stupid than him just
Hmm.
not having any words. But hey, if it's
Yeah,
pre-recorded and
I
it's
mean,
heavily edited, it's hard to say.
yeah, if Trump is interrupting him, then people would be like, "Oh, wow, Trump is so rude. He's such a bully." And it's like, yeah, well, also, if Biden's not saying anything, that's really gonna help.
Yeah.
It's
So I'm interested to see. This isn't the way it's normally done.
Mhm.
And then last night, kind of late, there was a cat fight in the House Oversight Committee. I don't know this, but apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene said something to a Democratic person. She said, "I think your fake eyelashes are messing up what you're reading." And so then they moved to strike it, and then, "How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person," AOC said to her.
Oh,
And then Green taunted her because she does that.
yeah. Well, AOC.
And so apparently they stating that Ocasio-Cortez didn't have enough intelligence for a debate. And so yeah.
Oh, the
So it was
girls,
just
they
a
fighting.
thing. Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that it seems like everybody's a little bit at their wits' end with stuff going on. Like, we all know AOC is kind of an idiot, but it's kind of interesting to hear her called out in the middle of a House committee meeting. So,
Always fun.
and I don't know. Not everybody
Keeps
likes
things
Marjorie
lively.
Taylor Greene, but I think it's kind of funny. Like, hey, you can't read that because of your fake eyelashes. Like, it's kind of funny. Oh, and yesterday or 2 days ago, Presley, the bald one, the bald Congress member or whatever she is, she said something about how white men are failing up. And it's really like all of her little cohorts are like dating white dudes or married to them, or so I don't know how you can go out and attack like a whole ball and then like have all of your like all the posse is like dating white dudes or married to them. So just interesting, just random stuff that was happening. But
Yeah, not
I'll
really
cut that
thinking
out.
that one
Didn't make
through, are
sense.
they?
No. And a lot of random nonsense news this week,
Yep.
which is lovely. So if you want to win yarn, make sure you comment on
That's
the
right.
video. Anne's got it, the PIK colorway. It's fabulous.
It's beautiful.
You can use the code turkey20 PIK for 20% off your order. And make sure you sign up for Chicken Lady's newsletter. She's always telling you about the cool stuff she's got going on. Oh, don't forget to check out our merch. And people have been saying that the shipping rates are really high. We're not in charge of shipping rates. That's set by the company. I see that when people order, though, sometimes the shipping rate is like routed to a different place and then it goes down. So that is a possibility that it could happen. But it depends on where it's coming from, unfortunately. And our products are fulfilled by a lot of different companies in the US. And so it kind of just depends on where it's getting shipped from. So you may have an order that's not much shipping, and then you may have a second one that is significantly more, and it's just based on who is producing the product. So sorry, we're going to look into that to see what we can do to make it better, but we're aware. We will do what we can. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week, and hope you have a good one. We'll see you on Tuesday for Live from the Knitting Wars. Bye.